Numantia was never meant to challenge Rome. It was not a vast empire, nor a kingdom rich in gold or marble palaces. It was a stubborn Celtiberian city perched on a harsh Iberian hill, built from stone, courage, and an unbreakable sense of freedom. Yet for decades, Numantia did what entire kingdoms failed to do. It humiliated Rome. Roman generals came and went, legions marched and died, and still the city stood defiant, mocking the might of the greatest empire on earth. Rome could forgive defeat, but it could never forgive humiliation. Every failed campaign against Numantia burned like an open wound in the Roman soul. Senators demanded vengeance. Generals demanded glory. The people demanded blood. Finally, Rome sent the one man trusted to end impossible wars, Scipio Aemilianus, the destroyer of Carthage. When Scipio arrived in Hispania, he did not see a city. He saw an insult that had lived too long. Scipio understood something earlier Roman commanders did not. Numantia did not need to be conquered. It needed to be suffocated. The city thrived on resistance, on daring Roman attacks, on battlefield heroism. So Scipio refused battle. Instead, he ordered a ring of death. Forts, trenches, walls, watchtowers, all built not to attack Numantia, but to seal it from the world. No food, no trade, no hope of escape. As the Roman siege tightened, life inside Numantia began to rot away slowly. At first, the people laughed at the Roman walls. They had survived worse. They rationed food. They sang songs of old victories. Warriors sharpened blades and told their children stories of Rome's failures. But hunger does not fear bravery. Weeks turned into months. Grain disappeared. Livestock was slaughtered. Leather was boiled. Even tree bark became food. The city grew quiet. Children stopped playing. Fires burned lower each night. Warriors who once charged Roman lines now struggled to stand. Mothers watched their sons wither, unable to help them. The streets of Numantia became a place of whispers, not cheers. Yet even in starvation, the spirit of resistance did not break. No delegation went to Scipio begging for mercy. No white flags appeared on the walls. Scipio watched patiently. He knew time was his greatest weapon. Roman soldiers complained, but discipline held. From their camps, they could hear cries from the city at night. Not war cries, but the sounds of hunger and despair. Some Roman soldiers felt pity. Scipio felt nothing. Rome wanted Numantia erased, and he intended to deliver exactly that. As death spread inside the city, the Numantian leaders gathered for a final council. These were men who had fought Rome since their youth. Men who had killed legionaries, broken Roman formations, and escaped certain death more times than they could count. They understood Roman victory better than anyone. They knew what awaited them if captured alive. Chains, beatings, mockery, and a long march through Rome as trophies of conquest. They spoke openly of Roman triumphs, of kings dragged in iron chains, of defeated leaders paraded before cheering crowds, of captives executed after serving their purpose as entertainment. To a Numantian, such a fate was worse than death. Freedom was not a political idea in Numantia. It was a way of breathing. To live without it was not living at all. The decision they faced was not whether Numantia would fall. That was already certain. The decision was how it would fall. As Roman walls closed tighter, and starvation claimed more lives each day. The leaders reached an agreement that would echo through history. Rome would not take them alive. Rome would not parade them. Rome would inherit ashes, not slaves. The order was given quietly. There was no panic, no riots, no chaos. The people of Numantia had lived their entire lives under the shadow of war. They understood sacrifice. Families gathered together. Warriors destroyed their weapons so Rome could not claim them as spoils. Homes were set ablaze, not in madness, but in purpose. Smoke rose from Numantia, visible even from the Roman camps. Some chose poison, prepared carefully, and shared among loved ones. Others chose the blade. Fathers killed their families to spare them Roman chains, then turned the sword upon themselves. Warriors embraced one another before falling together. There were screams, but there was also silence, the silence of resolve. Numantia was not dying in fear. It was dying on its own terms. When Roman scouts reported fire inside the city, Scipio initially believed Numantia was collapsing into chaos. He ordered his legions to prepare. But when Roman soldiers finally breached the gates, they found something far more unsettling than resistance. There were no defenders, no ambushes, no desperate last stand. Only corpses, smoke, and ruins. Streets were littered with bodies. Warriors still gripping broken swords, families locked in final embraces, leaders lying with dignity even in death. Roman soldiers moved carefully, disturbed by the stillness. Victory felt hollow. There were no prisoners to march, no cheers to raise, no triumph to celebrate. Scipio walked through the ruins himself. The conqueror of Carthage, the hero of Rome, stood among the dead of Numantia and understood something few Romans ever did. He had conquered the city, but he had not conquered its spirit. Rome had taken the land, but it would never take the will of the people who had lived there. In Rome, the Senate received news of Numantia's fall with mixed emotions. Officially, it was a victory. The rebellion was crushed, the insult erased, but there would be no triumphal procession, no Numantian leaders in chains, no dramatic executions to satisfy the crowds. Numantia had denied Rome the very symbol of dominance it craved most, submission. Historians would later struggle to categorize Numantia. Was it a defeat? A victory? A tragedy? To Rome, it was a warning. Even the greatest empire on earth could not always bend people to its will. Some would choose death over obedience. Some would burn their world rather than live without freedom. The ruins of Numantia became a quiet monument, not to Roman power, but to resistance. Long after Roman legions moved on, the story remained. Mothers would tell their children of a city that refused chains. Warriors would whisper of leaders who chose death, so their names would never be shouted by Roman crowds for entertainment. Rome ruled the ancient world with iron and blood, but Numantia proved there was one thing even Rome could not conquer completely: the human refusal to kneel. In choosing death, the Numantian leaders achieved something rare in history. They lost their city, their lives, and their future, but they won immortality. Numantia did not fall screaming for mercy. It fell in silence, fire, and defiance. And in that silence, Rome heard something it never wanted to hear: freedom cannot always be captured. If you want more true stories, subscribe to the channel and watch the next Roman story.